First story. I sold my son's PS4 to teach him a lesson after he finished his schoolwork very quickly and spent time playing stupid games instead of studying more. Now my son has left my house with his uncle. My other kids are acting scared and refuse to play with me. And my wife has become distant, blaming me for abusing her son. I 42M have always held a firm stance when it comes to my children's education, especially my eldest son 15M. He's gifted, consistently ahead in most academic benchmarks, and has ambitions of attending a top-tier university. My wife and I are both proud of his accomplishments, but I'd be lying if I said I wasn't also a bit uncompromising in how we maintain his focus. I come from a background where opportunities were few and distractions were many. I had potential, but no one around me pushed me to realize it. I had to climb out on my own. I made a vow that if I ever had children, I'd make sure they had the structure and discipline I never had. So yes, I am strict. We don't allow frivolous distractions, especially ones that can spiral into obsession. That means no video games, no smartphone, and minimal unsupervised internet access. In return, we give him the best: private tutors, advanced placement opportunities, and extracurriculars tailored for university applications. He hasn't rebelled or pushed back against the system. He's never complained about the routine. That, to me, is confirmation that we're doing something right. We also have 2 younger children, 10 and 7. They're still in public school, and while we do have some structure for them too, I admit it's not as intense not yet. My son, being the oldest, carries more expectations. Now, here's where things started to unravel. This past Christmas morning, my younger brother 35M came by to visit. He lives a few hours away and doesn't have kids, but he's the cool uncle type, lighthearted, jokes around a lot, and thinks most of my parenting style is outdated. We've butted heads in the past, but he's family, and I've generally let things slide. He arrived with wrapped gifts for the younger kids. Small toys, books, nothing unusual. But for my son, he handed over a larger box. My son opened it and was visibly stunned. It was a used PS4 with a couple of games. My brother explained he'd upgraded to a PS5 recently and figured my son deserved the old one as a reward for being a top student. I didn't say anything in the moment. I didn't want to cause a scene on Christmas Day. They plugged it into the living room TV and played a racing game. I watched for a few minutes, observing how fast my son picked it up. He was good, naturally. The younger kids gathered around, cheering. My wife didn't say much either. She just smiled and let it be. A bit later, my brother went to the kitchen to grab a drink, and I followed. I told him that while I appreciated the gesture, he should have consulted me first. We don't allow video games in the house for a reason: they're time-consuming, highly addictive, and can derail even the most focused students. He rolled his eyes and told me to relax, that it was just a harmless gift, and that my son deserved to unwind a bit. I didn't push further then. I figured I could talk to my son about it after the holiday passed. But over the following days, I saw something I hadn't seen in years: obsession. He played that thing every single moment he was awake. Morning, noon, and night. He even skipped parts of his usual reading time and writing drills. He introduced the games to his younger siblings, and now they were glued to the screen too. When I brought it up, he brushed it off saying, "It's the holidays, and I'm just relaxing." That might seem fair on the surface, but the drop in discipline was jarring. It's not about 1 week of gaming, it's about the break in structure. Allow it once, and it becomes normalized. Then it's a battle every time. New Year passed, and his private classes were about to resume. But instead of mentally preparing or refreshing material, he was still glued to that console. I finally sat him down and laid out the terms in clear, calm language. I said, "If you continue playing like this once your private lessons resume, the PS4 goes. You are being given resources that kids your age dream about, and I will not let a used console jeopardize years of planning." He looked upset, which was expected, but he agreed. He said he understood. He said he would limit his time and focus on school first. That brings us to what happened next. He started his private lessons again a few days after that conversation. As expected, the structure was back: morning study blocks, afternoon assignments, and evening prep. But the PS4 didn't stay untouched. He kept playing, not all day, not like before, but he'd rush through his schoolwork and sit in front of the TV for hours. I asked if his assignments were done, and he always said yes. I checked a few times, and they were technically complete. But the effort, the detail, not at the level he usually maintained. I saw the shift immediately. He was checking boxes, not learning. And I could see the signs: focus dipping, attitude changing, sleep schedule sliding. He was still polite, still respectful. But he was losing the edge. The intensity he had before the drive was fading. He'd come back from tutoring, drop his bag, and switch on the console like it was a reflex. The PS4 was no longer a treat. It was a routine. I reminded him of our agreement. He said, "I'm keeping my promise. I'm doing the work." I disagreed. There's a difference between showing up and being present. He wasn't present in his studies. He was managing them, like a checklist between gaming sessions. So I made the decision. While he was out at his tutoring center, I boxed up the PS4, all the accessories, and the games, and I sold it through an online listing I had prepared the week before. Picked up, gone, no mess. When he came home, he noticed immediately. Asked me directly where it was. I told him it had been sold, and I wasn't going to negotiate it. He asked, "Why would you do that?" I kept my end of the deal. I repeated what I had told him earlier, that this wasn't about whether assignments were submitted. It was about focus, mental discipline, and what kind of habits he was forming. I reminded him that I had warned him about the consequences clearly. His response shocked me. He didn't yell or argue. He just walked out of the room. A few hours later, my phone rang. It was my brother, the one who gave him the PS4. He was livid. Called me controlling, said I had no right to sell something that was a gift, and said I was treating my son like a project, not a person. I told him directly. The moment he gave that console to my son without asking me, he overstepped. That console caused a measurable drop in performance and attention. It wasn't just a toy, it was a liability. He didn't care, said I had killed the joy in my own house, and that if my kid checks out emotionally, it's on me. I hung up. I don't need parenting lectures from someone who doesn't have kids and plays Fortnite in his 30s. Later that night, my wife sat me down. She's usually aligned with me on the big things, especially around education. But this time she pushed back. She said, I didn't even try to set reasonable limits. That I jumped from warning to punishment without any attempt at compromise. That maybe the boy needed some kind of outlet, especially with how much we put on his shoulders. I told her the structure is the outlet. The sense of accomplishment, the high-level achievement, that's what he should be proud of. That's what creates long-term happiness. She didn't argue. She just looked tired. Disappointed, maybe. Since then, the house has changed. My son goes through the motions, but there's a wall. He doesn't initiate conversation. He answers questions with single words. He eats, studies, and sleeps, nothing more. No smiles, no energy. It's like he's doing time. My younger kids are quieter too. They used to play in the living room while I worked nearby. Now they disappear into the backyard or their room the moment I walk in. If I ask what they're doing, they give vague answers. If I sit down near them, they get up within minutes and go find mom or look for something. I asked my wife last night if she had spoken to them, if she'd explained why I did what I did. She said, "They already know. That's not the problem." I don't believe I made the wrong call. The PS4 had to go. My son was slipping, not in a catastrophic way, but it was the beginning of something I've seen before in other families. They give a little freedom, then lose control piece by piece until the kid's staying up until 2 and playing online and blowing off school. I'm not letting that happen. Not to him. Not after all we've built. But now I'm here, in a quiet house where no one talks to me unless necessary. My son still shows up for tutoring. His scores are still high. But he's somewhere else mentally. Detached. Going through the motions. My wife walks around me like she's picking her words carefully. Even the 10-year-old gives me half smiles and avoids eye contact. And now I'm wondering, was the cost of that console really higher than the one I've paid since? So Reddit, AITA for selling the PS4. Comments. Comment 1. YTA. You didn't teach him balance. You controlled everything. The moment he got even a taste of freedom, he latched on because he doesn't know what moderation looks like. That's not on him, that's on you. And instead of helping him learn self-regulation, you punished him for being human. This isn't discipline. This is micromanagement under the illusion of love. Kids don't thrive like that forever, they burn out. And when they do, you'll wonder why he doesn't call anymore. Comment 2. You didn't sell a game console. You sold trust. You made a deal with your son, he followed the letter of it, and you still pulled the rug out. He's not stupid. He knows now that his word means nothing in your eyes. That's the damage. Not the PS4. Not the time spent playing. The fact that you made a rule, he tried to follow it, and you still decided he failed based on your invisible metric. That will stick with him. long after the grades fade. Comment 3. You're not raising a student. You're raising a person. Right now, you're treating him like a resume you're building, not a human being with internal limits. I've seen kids like yours snap in college straight A's in high school, then total collapse once they're out from under the leash. Some drown in pressure. Others spiral into avoidance. Either way, they don't call home. That's where you're headed. Update. I read a lot of the comments. Some made me angry. Others stuck. Especially the ones that said I wasn't raising a person, just managing performance. I don't agree with everything, but it made me think. I realized maybe I acted too fast. I thought the console would derail him long term, but maybe the smarter move would have been teaching balance instead of ripping it away. So I tried to fix it. I found a used PS4 in great condition. I bought it myself. I thought if I gave it back under clear rules 2 hours a day, only after assignments it would show I'm willing to change. I even set up parental controls and told him I trusted him, but just wanted accountability. I scheduled time blocks where it could be used and installed a monitoring app. Not to spy, just to track usage. When he got home and saw the box, he looked confused. I told him I needed to give him some space. I said I was giving the PS4 back, and I hoped this would be the start of a healthier balance. He didn't say anything, just stared at the box. Then said, "You bought it, out of guilt." I told him that wasn't true, that I was trying. That this was a good compromise. He asked, "Would you still have done this if I didn't finish my homework one day?" I said, "That depends." He walked away. Didn't touch the console. The next day I saw him sitting outside, just staring into the backyard. The day after that, the PS4 was still untouched. The third day, my wife pulled me aside. She said this wasn't working. That he didn't want the PS4 anymore. He wanted freedom, real freedom. Not 1-hour slices. Not rewards or punishments. She told me that I had to try something different. She said, "Tell him he's in charge now. Show him what trust actually looks like." I sat down with him that night and told him, "You're 15. You've proven yourself. From now on, you decide your schedule. You decide your breaks. I'm stepping back. I trust you." He nodded, barely reacting. The next day, he skipped one of his tutoring blocks. He said he was going to hang out with a friend from school at the park. First time he's done that since he was 12. I told him okay. But I wasn't okay. I felt it the entire afternoon, this twisting in my gut. That sick, gnawing feeling that all the structure was cracking. One missed tutoring session turns into more. One afternoon out turns into 2. I know how this goes. I've watched other parents go through it. I know the slope. I felt helpless. I waited for him to come back. I told myself I'd stay calm. He came back at dinner. Looked relaxed. Happy, even. I asked why he skipped tutoring. He said, "Because I wanted to." I asked if he thought that was responsible. He shrugged. I asked again, louder. He said, "You told me it was my choice." I lost it. I told him this is why I kept structure, because left alone, he throws it away. That I gave him a chance to prove he could handle freedom, and he chose laziness. That if he thought college was going to let him slide like this, he was delusional. He didn't raise his voice. Didn't even look angry. Just stood there, walked to his room, and closed the door. The next morning, he was gone. He left a note. "I'm staying with Uncle Sam for now. I need space. Please don't come get me." My wife knew. He told her. She didn't stop him. She said he made his decision, and she wouldn't undermine that. I told her she was enabling disrespect. She told me I was reaping what I sowed. He's been gone 3 days now. He won't answer my calls. My brother sent a message. He's safe. He's staying as long as he wants. Don't come here unless you're ready to actually listen. I don't respond. What's the point? The house is different. Quieter, tense. The PS4 sits untouched on the shelf. My younger sons avoid me. If I enter a room, they leave. I asked the 10-year-old if he wanted to play chess. He said he had homework. At 7 p.m. on a Saturday. He was lying. I could hear him watching cartoons in the bedroom after. The 7-year-old used to crawl into my lap during weekend mornings. Now, if I sit on the couch, he goes to the other room. I asked him why. He said, "I don't want to make you mad." I thought I was protecting my younger kids from chaos. If they now see me as harsh, that's unfortunate, but it doesn't mean I was wrong. This is what happens when structure is mistaken for control. When kids are taught to think freedom means doing whatever they want. He's not mature enough to understand the long game. That's the real issue here. He let one afternoon at the park matter more than years of preparation. My brother enables it. My wife's too passive. I'm the only one trying to keep this family on track. He'll come back eventually. Maybe not soon, but he will. And when he does, he'll see this wasn't about punishment, it was about direction. Comments. Comment 1. You didn't lose your son because of the PS4. You lost him because you keep confusing control with care. You call it structure, but what you're really saying is, my way or nothing. And now it's nothing. He left, and instead of reflecting, you doubled down. You still think everyone else is wrong. That's why he won't come back. Comment 2. The saddest part isn't that your son left. It's that you genuinely believe this outcome proves you were right. That losing your relationship is just a side effect of maintaining order. You had a chance to reconnect. You used it to test him. He failed your test not because he's weak, but because he's done performing. Comment 3. You built a system so rigid it cracked your own family. Your son walked out, your other kids are scared of you, and your wife is checked out, and you still think you're keeping the house steady. No, you're just sitting in the wreckage pretending it's fine because the chairs are still lined up. Second story. My mom made me, an autistic person, sit at dinner with her boss and force me to finish food I didn't like, so I fed it to the ducks. Her boss enjoyed it, but my mom claimed I embarrassed her by not behaving normally. Hello. I'm 20, and I live with my mom 48 in the UK. Mom hosted a mini dinner for some colleagues. Her husband has a big house and a garden where we sat. I don't like dinners and eating with strangers, but I had to sit with them, which was a little bit stupid. They made food I don't like. It had peas in it, and I don't like peas. My mom knows this, but I wasn't allowed to eat other stuff because it would be making a fuss, and there was no time to make other things. I was not allowed to make something myself either. I picked out the peas from my dinner to feed to ducks at the pond close to my stepdad's house, because I know ducks like peas. They shouldn't eat bread because that's bad for them. I put all the peas in a little cup with my spoon. Mom's boss was sitting opposite of me and asked what I was doing, so I told him. He was silent for a while and then said okay. We didn't talk a lot, but sometimes he asked me a question, and I answered. At the end, he gave me some more peas that he had removed from his own food. I asked if he also didn't like peas, and he said, I do like peas, but I also like ducks, so they can have my peas, which I think was nice of him. He also gave me £5 to buy ice cream for myself when I feed the ducks, which was also very nice of him. We didn't talk much, but I think he was a nice man, and I liked him. But when he left, he talked to my mum, and she came to me, and she was angry or upset. She asked me if I spent all dinner picking out peas, and I said no. I also ate the pasta bits, but there were a lot of peas to pick out. She asked why I did that in front of everyone, because that's very rude to do during a dinner. It shows you do not like the food and are not interested in the guest. This is exactly what I thought, so that's true. Mum said that she understands that it's not nice. But if she says it's important like she did before dinner, then it really is important, and I should keep that in mind. They were people who deserve respect and who feel put off by others touching their food strangely or not engaging with them. Mum's boss told her before he left that maybe next time I should eat something else because I didn't eat much. I'm not a big eater, so it's kind of normal for me. But he doesn't know that, of course. But the point is that he said something negative to her that could have been avoided if I didn't pick the peas out of my food. I didn't think about this. I understand that that is not a good thing, but my mom was genuinely upset, and I think that is a little bit much. It's just a dinner, and he was a nice man. I don't think he's angry at her. I was just wondering if I'm not seeing something important here that makes it an odd thing to do. AITA. Thank you. Edit. I'm autistic and don't like peas because of the texture that makes me feel bad. I'm dependent on my mum because I'm not able to live on my own yet, but I'm learning. I didn't realize that could change the context of the story until it was pointed out to me. Thank you for your insights so far. Some of the comments by OP. I think he was a very nice man, and thinking back now, I appreciate his behavior. It's too bad I didn't say that to him. I hope his comment to my mum was indeed meant in a gentle way. Maybe my mum was just stressed after hosting. She's usually okay with how I eat. I believe my mum was stressed because she likes her work and wanted to make a good impression. I think you're also right, and she didn't want to make a fuss about me because I don't like it when people ask me questions about myself out of nowhere. She's usually quite considerate, but sometimes she just gets frustrated. I hope to talk to my mum tomorrow after my morning routine. Thank you. Somebody votes YT. because OP made their mom look bad in front of their boss. Thank you for your insight. I didn't realize that out of the office, it would still be a big thing. I thought he was more of a work friend because he was there for dinner. But you have a good point. I forgot to put this in the post. But I still ate one bite because we have a one-bite rule when we have guests over. I don't know if her boss saw that. I put the peas with other food, but I could still taste them. And they made me feel bad. So I decided to save them for the ducks, so they wouldn't be wasted in the trash. I do hear that I'm like a child a lot. And maybe that's because I'm autistic. In my eyes, I had done enough to try, but the food was not nice, so I didn't continue. But I can understand now that with her boss, I should have approached it differently. I'm not sure if I was being obvious. I didn't announce it or complain out loud and first ate everything I could eat before picking out the remaining peas and storing them in a paper cup so I can easily take the peas to the pond with me. I just kept to myself, but Mum's boss was sitting opposite of me, so he noticed. I'm unsure if others also noticed. I'm not allowed to live on my own because I'm still learning how to take care of myself, and I'm on the waiting list for assisted living. I'm autistic. I thought saving the peas would be more useful, so they wouldn't go to waste if I threw them out later. I didn't realize we had to impress Mum's boss, but it makes sense now. Update. 4 days later. Thank you very much for your insight. I appreciate all the comments and also the awards. I think that's very cool to receive. Some comments said to talk about it with my mum. I did, and it went very well. She said sorry and said it was not my fault. She explained to me how it went, and I will try to tell it as short as possible. Mum was very stressed because she never hosts dinners. She wanted her colleagues to like it. They requested the recipe. She forgot I don't eat peas because she was too busy with her colleagues. She wanted me to eat with them because at her colleague's house, his kids also ate with them. She didn't want to make a fuss about my autism because sometimes I'm rude when people ask about it. She said her head was all over the place all evening. I said to her that that's why I could have made my own food. She said that was difficult because there was no time for that. I didn't realize because I'm not good with time awareness. I asked her to communicate with me next time and be more clear about what I can or can't do. She said she will and said I can help cook next time too. Almost every comment said that her boss was nice. He probably wasn't angry or upset with her. I told this to my mum. She said sorry to me again because she wasn't upset at me at all. She was embarrassed because she tried to get me to behave normally, and she shouldn't have done that. She took it out on me on a whim. I also said sorry because I didn't realize that it could have been important for her work status. I just thought they were like friends. She said it was okay because I didn't make a big fuss, and I didn't get loud or walk away. She's proud of me for staying at the table and also thinking about the ducks. We concluded that we both learned things. I learned things because I now know more about work dinners and manners. She learned things because she now knows to communicate and explain more to me to avoid stress. In the comments, people also said her boss might have experience with autistic people. I asked my mom, and it was a little bit sad. His little brother was autistic, but he died 10 years ago. It made him sad because he loved him a lot. He told her I should eat things I like next time because it upset him to think Mum was worried about appearances so much that I had to be uncomfortable during dinner. He also said that dinner was really good and that he's happy to have her in his team at work. He's a good person and a good boss. I sent him a thank you email with my mum. The last thing is that I fed the ducks the peas. I think they were happy about it. The thing with ducks is that they don't say that to you, of course. I got an ice cream with 2 scoops at the pond. I also got one for my mum because I had money left. It was a little bit melted when I came home because it was a 5-minute walk. But she still liked it, and she said I was amazing. Thank you for reading. Thank you for watching the video. If you are interested in listening to these kinds of stories, we've got more in store for you. Simply subscribe to our channel, hit the like button, and share it with your friends.